Well, Happy New Year. It's great to be back in front of the camera after a break. A big important part of city gospel movements are reaching the vulnerable, the oppressed and the broken in our cities. And our city has plenty of them. Statistically speaking, women move faster into these areas, mostly because of their hearts of compassion, the way they feel the pain and see the issues around them. This has certainly been our experience here in Toowoomba for the last 20 years as we've pioneered City Women Toowoomba and mobilised hundreds of women across the churches into the pain of our city. An important part of our strategy going forward is to see more City Women groups started around our nation, and it's been happening, which is really exciting. And today we're talking to a very new City Women leader, Jess McLaren. She lives in Mackay. Welcome, Jess.
Thank you.
Great to have you with us. Now you lived in Toowoomba. You're originally from Mackay, then you came to Toowoomba, and now you've gone back to Mackay. What were you doing in Toowoomba, and how did you capture a vision for your city while you were in Toowoomba?
My husband and I moved down to Toowoomba for work. We've got positions at the local hospital to do our medical training, and so we were in Toowoomba for 5 years. And while we were there, I was fortunate enough to be linked in with City Women early on through my local church, and I was just able to see how amazing women working together from across different churches could be within the city. And Toowoomba was an amazing experience in seeing what unity could look like across denominations, across local churches, across the city, and that together we can be so much more powerful in our efforts than we can as individuals or even as single local churches.
Absolutely. You were attending a local Seventh-day Adventist church, and your pastor has just left Toowoomba as well, so that's a bit sad. But he was a big champion of unity as well. What did you learn from mixing in with other churches and just the times we did combine stuff? What did you pick up in those times?
I think I suppose I learnt that really our theological differences are, they're interesting. It's okay for people to have different doctrine and different theology as long as the foundations of believing in Jesus Christ as Saviour and Lord are there, and that, each person is acting out their faith in the way that they believe is right and true, and that in the efforts to do the work that God has called us to, we shouldn't be letting those doctrinal things get in the way from us being truly brothers and sisters in Christ and working together for the needy and the oppressed, and to bring justice into our cities. So I'd learnt that there were beautiful people, of men and women of God across the city of Toowoomba that went to a variety of different denominations, and I'm pretty sure I didn't even have any clue which churches the other women went to when we did serve together. It just wasn't important.
Yeah, that's been a key component. Half the time as the leader I'm not even aware, because we have a bigger vision of what we want to do in our city, and we just love each other across the denominations, which is beautiful. So at the probably in the last year you realised you'd be moving back to Mackay, and you were really intentional that you wanted to go back and be able to somehow gather the women of Mackay to look outwards and into the pain of your city. So you've been back there, is it almost a year probably, or even a bit more?
Yeah, nearly 12 months.
Okay,
yeah.
Wow. So where did you begin then? Just because it's been a while since you were there, you probably lost contact with a lot of Christians and churches. Where do you begin coming in as a new person with this idea that I want to gather the women?
Well, to be honest, I didn't know where to begin. I started, I was able to get a contact of a woman in Mackay who had attended Movement Day and attended some of the things that your dad had run in Toowoomba, and she was passionate about unity in the city but hadn't ever had great success. But I was able to get in contact with her, and we just had a chat and encouraged each other. And then I prayed pretty much, and I just, networking is probably the key thing. I wasn't really sure how that was possible. I've got a toddler, and it didn't seem like a viable option to visit every church in town seeking out women. But I prayed, and I just asked God to put me in connection with women who are passionate about making the city of Mackay a better place and about serving the Lord. And then you sent a message, and we were lucky enough to have you come for the Disruptive City Women tour, and that was really the catalyst where I was able to meet women who were interested. I think a key thing too was that when you came for that, I had the intention there of wanting to gather the women and take it further. I didn't want you to come and then we all go back to our homes and churches and never meet again. So I think I recognised that as that was God saying, well, here's your women. And so we called a meeting a fortnight after the tour, and that's how it's kicked off. So basically just keeping in touch with those connections that God has brought, my way.
And the beauty of that is you've found like-minded women, women with different passions. What are some of the passions that have come forward that now you're looking at doing ministry into the city?
Yeah, so probably the team that is the most passionate is I have a small group of women and some men who really want to see a pregnancy support organisation started in Mackay. And that was the thing that I was in my mind, like, oh, that'll be a few years down the track. Like, that's really big. So, and God had other plans, and that's been the thing that this group had. God was preparing them for that, in the same timeline, so that we met up just as there's a key couple who are really ready to start this ministry and have been so passionate and fired up. So that's very exciting. Then we've had a team, a rehab team start with 5 women who are really excited to go into the brothels and into the strip clubs and just really connect and love on the women who work in that industry. And we've also had a school request the Bella Girl program. So there's definitely passion for teenage girls in Mackay, which is really exciting. There's a number of people who are really keen to make a difference in that area. So they're our 3 key ministries that have started up out of,
And when was it? October when I visited you?
October, yeah.
And this is the beauty of what I'm seeing all around the nation. When you give women a vision and you draw them together, they don't care about what churches, they want to just gather, they want to be mobilised. But it takes someone like yourself just to put up your hand and say, and bring a bit of leadership and coordination. So well done to you, because as you said, you have a toddler, another baby on the way, you're a GP, got a husband obviously. So, but it's just about what works in with you as well and your lifestyle. What would you say are some of the main issues that are causing oppression across Mackay? Do you have particular issues that are relevant to your city?
So there are the issues that I would say would be across every city in our country. We're in an age where kids aren't growing up as safe as they were. We've got the internet and social media making such an impact. So there's all of those issues with the young girls. And I would say Mackay, we've probably got, we definitely have a big issue with domestic violence. And one of the other things, Mackay's a mining city, and because of that, the men are away a lot. And we've got women in their homes for, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks at a time without their partners. They're there looking after their children, keeping house alone. And I think there's a big plague of loneliness in this city. That's something that is a massive issue to try and target, and we're, puzzling out how we could do that. But I think, that's something that's really struck me since I've moved back, that there just seems to be a large number of women who are lonely and having difficulty making connections and strong friendships that they can draw on when their partners are away.
Do you have days when you think, what have I started?
Oh, yes. Yes.
And
I think I found out I was having a baby like the week after you came, and we'd, already planned this follow-up meeting. I was like, oh, my goodness, what timing. But, God's faithful, and I said at the beginning, to God, that I didn't want any of this to be me striving and struggling and putting in a lot of effort. I was just going to let him lead the way. And so far, he's been so good, and I don't feel that strain on my shoulders. But, certainly there are days I think, what am I doing? This is, there's so many things. And, we've got 3 ministries that have started. I was hoping that there would be somebody super keen to step into leadership and take over those, or, 1 or 2 of those. But so far we haven't had somebody who's felt that they're able to do that. And I'm hoping and praying that there'll be others, women who will just know their value and their worth, and that they can step out and lead. I don't need to be in control or lead all of the ministries, but at present I'm sort of,
the person.
main driver. But that's okay. We'll get there, and it will all happen in the right timing.
Well, fantastic. Well, thank you for your time. I think it is encouraging just to hear how you've stepped out in simple obedience, and how women are responding, and men as well. We do have men involved with City Women across Australia, and here in Toowoomba they're vital. But we look forward to seeing what God continues to do in Mackay. We'll keep praying for you with all that is on your hands too. So thank you so much, Jess. And I just want to encourage those who are watching today that if you feel like God is calling you to start something in your city, in your town, please contact us. We're very happy to come and help and offer resources and support to get you going. Let's start moving and see what God might do. Thank you so much.